Hi, welcome back to the Inside the Valley podcast. I'm Colin Spencer. Today we've got a fantastic guest coming up after our open discussion, head Citadel football coach Maurice Drayton. Don't know if I pronounced that right, but we're all good. So, how do you guys feel after the Masters just wrapped up?
Feeling good. Roy McIlroy took it home again, so I'm feeling good. I'm a huge Roy McIlroy fan. So
Really?
Why?
yes.
Why?
I just like I played golf all throughout high school, and he's just like someone in the league that I've just like looked up to or always like watched, admire him for like what he's been through in his game, especially like all because I watched the show. I don't know if you guys watched it, Full Swing, and it kind of like went a little bit behind the scenes on all of them. So I guess just all the work he's put into, and especially like him last year, like they were just saying like when is he gonna win? Like when is he gonna win? And then he took it home last year and then he took it home again. So I'm a huge fan of Roy McIlroy. So
I mean, one thing is I feel like back to back is a lot easier when he got to skip the
right.
past two tournaments and play at Augusta for 3 weeks before the tournament.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I was hoping Bryson would sneak it out though. I know a lot of
I
people were
see.
saying
I
that
thought,
this
yeah, I
year.
thought he was up there. It was like
He's
a bunch
so
of them towards the
entertaining.
end. Yes, he is.
He's so
He is.
entertaining. But bro, that one I saw like the sand trap. My gosh, bro.
Oof, that was
What
rough.
what is happening? Looked like Happy Gilmore out there getting pissed. Like almost broke his club.
Yeah.
I was hoping Justin Rose was going to win. He's finished second three times at the Masters. He's
Yeah.
45. Felt like it was finally his time.
What
That's an
streaming
accomplishment
platforms
right
did y'all
there.
use?
What's up?
What streaming platforms did y'all use to watch?
Uh, I was on just masters.com, just
Yeah, I was
completely
too.
live. It's like 4 minutes of ads in an hour, so
Yeah.
convenient. Or just the Masters app.
Ugh, I feel terrible. I didn't really watch it. I saw some like reels on Instagram, but that was about it. And the only other thing was my friend was there and she called me from it, so I thought that was cool, but I didn't really see
Yes.
anything. So that was fun.
A lot of my buddies went. I was hoping that they would bless me with some gear, but they didn't.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't really watch it either, Marley, so that's okay. you're not alone. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're welcome. Yeah. I know the gear is cool, but it's so expensive. But I think you
It's not
can
too bad.
resell it pretty
Is it
well.
though? Because I
That's
was
what I've
like,
heard.
I've seen so many people like with like bags and bags of stuff. Because I know like the food's cheap. I'm like, is
Yeah.
kind of the merch cheap? I'm like, I just see people with bags and bags of stuff like doing a haul. I'm like,
it's like
hmm,
a regular like polo or something.
it
Yeah, I
is.
think
Like it's
like
not like
I
super overpriced, but I
Okay.
mean it's like 70, $60 for like a polo too. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like the
I think my
Masters
friend
polo
said
stuff.
yeah.
she bought like a towel for her golf bag and it was like $60. So that's what I was just referring to. That was
Oh
Oof.
yeah, that's kind of
pretty
steep.
bad. But I think it's like people frame it too, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the main
Collector's
thing that
item.
depends is because like Masters has their own merch, so that's
Mhm.
cheaper. But then you get like a Peter Millar polo, and
Yeah.
that's $145 at the
Yeah.
Masters. It's not too
Yeah.
Wow.
bad.
And now it's
Yeah.
funny like to see like the different language that they use and stuff, like the particular wordage that they use and like our professor was saying in class too. So I was like, that's cool to like look at too. Like
Yeah.
I was watching like some clips and like I was like, yeah, this is like strange. This is weird and not like normal like golf. Never noticed that.
Yeah, I never knew that before it either. But I feel like that would be pretty hard to do if you've been trained for so long to be speaking about
Yeah,
sports a certain way and then all of a sudden, but it's pretty cool.
for
Well, it's
sure.
also
I like
crazy.
that.
It's like the same like people that do it, and they've done it for like so long. It's
Oh, it
like,
is. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Well, that's gotta help then. Oh, because I
Yes.
remember like seeing memes about the guy's voice and how calming it was and stuff like that.
Jim Nance, he's been doing it for I think like 40 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably what
Crazy.
it is then. Yeah.
I think he's 40. You got
I personally think that calling the Masters on TV or announcing the Masters on TV is truly an art because you have to be so calm and you have to say the right things. And it's really interesting to me. I think kind of announcing is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, because it can't be like football and like, basketball where they like go crazy, but it's
Yeah.
just like so calm.
They need how like they have that app where you can like fall asleep to people's voices.
That needs to be
Yeah.
one of the voices
Yeah.
on there.
Jim Nance with the birds chirping in the background.
Good morning.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get him on the podcast pretty soon. Um, we'll be right back. See you guys later.
All right, everyone, welcome back to our final episode of Inside the Valley. Tonight we have a very special guest, head football coach Maurice Drayton of the Citadel, and a former NFL assistant coach at the Green Bay Packers, Las Vegas Raiders, and Indianapolis Colts. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to have you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Well, we're gonna jump in and ask you a few questions if that's okay. So I'm gonna start. What made you decide to get into coaching?
Yeah, that was easy. Coaching kind of chose me. Um, being a part of athletics my whole life. Once I put on the cleats for the last time, I was just always searching for that locker room. And what I mean by that is the camaraderie. You hear sports programs and coaches always talk about family, things of that nature. I missed that. And then part of it was I wanted to give young men and women the opportunities that I had and some of the things I've been able to see. So that's the why. That's why I got into coaching.
All right.
What's up, Coach? I just want to ask you, what were the biggest influences on you as a coach?
Yeah, believe it or not, it started at home with my dad. All right. So my father is a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine. He's the seventh of 13 kids. He served during the Vietnam era. Right. So when he came back from Vietnam, um, he actually became what we call an elder in the AME church. And he instilled in me at an early age what I call manhood. And basically, being able to stand on your own 2 feet. He was big in the scholarship. I mean, education was huge. He didn't want me to have to enlist in the service or my sister or my brother. Um, so that education component was huge. And then I watched the way he helped people in community, what I call uplift. Constantly helping people. And now my personal motto is lifting as I climb. So as I climb this ladder in life, I'm gonna try to bring as many people along with me as I can. And I just want to see people do great. And last but not least, perseverance. Can't quit, don't quit attitude. So the coaching aspect that helps develop my philosophy actually started at home with my upbringing. So I tell people all the time, I guess I was kind of born a coach. It wasn't something that I woke up one day and said, hey, this is what I want to do. Little did I know it was instilled in me from the beginning.
Sorry, I had a question for you. What has been your favorite experience coaching in a different era of college football than ever before?
Ooh, I no, that's easy. I'm glad you. I had to think about it and process. My greatest experience would have been in last season, 25 season, because uh, we have not been a part of the shared revenue portion yet. We did not necessarily believe in NIL, right? So I have a zero budget, and so my best times in this new era is when we have been able to beat schools who have a budget. In our conference, in the Southern Conference, last cycle, Mercer, they had the high. They had 500K to spend on their football team. Tennessee Tech is now coming into our conference, and their budget, and it's documented. You can go find it. Their general manager says they have 1.5 million to spend on their football team, on their players. Where lowly old me here at the Citadel, I'm still recruiting guys for the love of the game. I'm recruiting guys that are a special breed. So is it difficult? Yes. But when we're able to come out on top on that scoreboard, opponent that has these budgets, that's a good day at the office.
That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing.
Hi, Coach. Hope all is well. I got a question for you. As being a former Bulldog, what does it mean to coach your alma mater? And does that play any like aspect in how you handle situations or coach?
Absolutely. And it's been good and it's been bad, right? Anytime you go back to your alma mater, especially at a place where nobody retires. Charleston is beautiful, so everybody stays on the job here. They don't want to leave this place. I'm in my third stint here, right? So
Yeah.
the point I'm making is there's a whole lot of people that remember me when I was 17 to 21 years old. And they see that guy sometimes, and I have to remind them that all this white hair right here, coaching Aaron Rodgers, coaching Pat McAfee, coaching Devontae Adams, coaching Adam Vinatieri, you don't get to coach those caliber players and not know what you're doing. So every once in a while, I got to pull that card and remind these guys. Okay, so that's the detriment part. That's the part that's not so flashy. The good is, I care about this place. I kind of know where the bodies are buried. I know the community inside and out, and it's nothing like being able to do something that maybe your predecessors have not done yet, have not done before, and doing it at home.
Thank you, Coach.
Hi, so I was wondering what is something from the NFL that you've tried to implement here that people wouldn't expect?
I don't know that people wouldn't expect, but now that we're in this new era, well, that was the NFL, the pay for play model. That is the NFL. And so you guys are familiar with once you enter the shared revenue space, you have to reduce your roster. So now you're going from in our case, 120 to 105. I believe Coach Sweeney at one time was around 130, and now he has to go to 105. So playing with a smaller roster, the management of monies in the NIL space, because we just opted into the shared revenue. So July 1, I get to compensate a few players. Now, my budget is nowhere near the budgets of my counterparts, but at least I'm in the game. And so, having seen that done at the highest level is allowing me to operate faster than some of my counterparts who do not have a full-time general manager or who has never been in this space before.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Coach, I know you probably talked a little bit about this, but since you have had the ability of being a coordinator in the NFL and now a head football coach in the college level, what do you see as the biggest difference between the NFL and how modern college football today is with the transfer portal and NIL?
So if we're talking schematics, we're talking X's and O's. The NFL game, believe it or not, is a little more pure. At the college level, you can get all this trickery, this what I call junk. All right, so that's from a schematic standpoint. So those are the differences there. Uh, the NIL model, excuse me, is very similar, like I said, to the NFL when it comes to the pay for play. Like with the NIL model, with the shared revenue model, there's incentives in the contracts. It's no different than the NFL, where the NFL incentives are tailored to the individual. The incentives at our level, at the collegiate level, have to be team oriented. So they're the same, but they're different. Um, the business side of it is it's trending to be in the same arena. That's where we're going with this thing.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Coach.
So, Coach, how has your coaching style evolved over the years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually give my brother and his friends the credit for teaching me how to coach. In 1999, I coached Berkeley High School wrestling, and it was a very, very bad wrestling team. And we ended up taking that team to our team finished fourth in the state. But I learned all the wrong things, right? How I spoke to the young men, how I thought I was motivating them, how I thought I was doing the right thing. And we did get the best out of them. What I learned about myself from that start point till now is everyone, you ready for this? This is not what you normally hear. Everyone's not equal. They're not in the sports arena. And because they're not equal, you have to coach to the individual. You also have to teach to the individual. I believe a good teacher can be a great coach, and great coaches typically are great teachers. So that's what I learned over the years, how to adapt to the human beings that I'm coaching. Some coaches are known for the air raid. Some coaches are known as game managers. Some coaches are known as power guys or option guys. Well, me, I'm a football coach. We tailor our schemes. We do whatever our young men allow us to do, and that's what I've learned over the years.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, building off of that, how you stated you try to get in young men that kind of fit your culture and identity. I wanted to ask, which player have you coached that you feel left a valuable impact at the Citadel?
Many, 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 many. I've coached many players here at the Citadel who are in our Athletic Hall of Fame. I've coached players here at the Citadel who went to the NFL. I've coached players here who are now CEOs of company. I've coached players here that are the heads of states, believe it or not, that are in politics. So I've been blessed. I could pull out a name here and there, but there's so many guys. These guys are different. And one thing about recruiting here, I do not convince anyone to come here. A lot of ball coaches, and McKinley, you know this, when your dad was out there recruiting, we're convincing. And that's what I did years ago. I would convince people to come to a university. I don't do it anymore. I tap into the individual's why. I figure out what their why is, right? And then I make a promise to them and I make sure they understand I'm going to help them get to their why. All right. And if they choose my school on those days when it's tough, when it's rough, I'm going to remind them of their why. And I invest in them so much. All right. They have no choice but to run through a wall for me. That's just the way it works. But it goes back to my motto of lifting as I climb. So there's many guys, many guys. And once I recruit a young man, it's not a coach player relationship. It's what I call a family ship. And that's real. A lot of people talk about it, but it's real. And it's seen through my action. I cannot articulate to you right now, and you would not understand what I'm telling you, but it's real. If you ask or interview any of my former players, they would tell you that.
Thank you, Coach. That's very valuable insight.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Coach. So with you currently coaching at a military college, what would you say is kind of the biggest advantage, but also disadvantage of coaching?
All right, you ready for this? I'm gonna give you a
Yeah.
quote that I said last year that actually got me in trouble. All right, and I don't know what your fan base is, but I've been to a few places in Clemson and I hung out, so I think you guys can relate. What's good and what's bad? I have a lot of good young men, some really, really good young men. I actually have too many milk drinkers. In order to play this game, I need a few liquor drinkers. All right. So, what I'm basically saying there is, I got a bunch of nice guys. That's the good thing, right? I got the kind of guys that you want your daughter to date, but you don't want your daughter to marry. Because you want your daughter to marry that liquor drinker because he got a little streak in him. If somebody breaks in the house, right, he's going to defend his territory. So that is the good and the bad. For all great teams, you better have one or two guys that when they leave the facility, you don't know, you don't quite know what they're going to do, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Coach. That's a good aspect.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, following that, what is one area on or off the field that you think college athletes need the most guidance in right now?
Financial awareness. As long as we're going to be in this shared revenue space, there needs to be some type of financial awareness. We're going into the shared revenue space for the first time. And truth of the matter is this: I need to figure out the tax implications as I recruit these young men and I tell them, hey, I'm able to give you X amount of dollars from our shared space. I also need to be able to tell them, hey, this is how you manage your money. I need to make sure the administration knows, hey, we don't give it to them in one lump sum. We need to break it up into payments, because if we don't give them that financial awareness, then they're going to blow it, the misappropriation of funds. So that's the space where we need to spend the most time right now, collectively as a whole.
Okay, thank you.
Great, Coach. Did coming back to your alma mater to be the head coach, was that always the goal for you?
So I'll say this: I did not know it was possible when I entered these gates as a cadet. Um, and as I played here, as I coached here in many capacities, I started getting the itch, thinking, yeah, I would like to be the head coach here. Um, Truth of the matter is, after my second stint, we won 2 back-to-back conference championships, and the head coach at the time left to go to a bigger school, and it was myself, the assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, and it was the offensive coordinator that had the opportunity to get the job. I felt as if during that time I wanted the job. This is where I wanted to be. I wear the ring. I'm not wearing my ring now, but I wore the ring, and the ring takes care of the ring. Citadel men look after Citadel men, and I didn't get the job. And so at that point, when I did not get the job, I didn't think I would ever be the head coach at the Citadel, because I went to the NFL at that point, living a great life. And then one of the board of visitors called me when this job was coming open, who happened to be a teammate, and he said, the time is now. The time is now. The school is ready now. I'm the first African American head coach at the Citadel. I'm also, you ready for this? The first
I'm ready.
African American head coach in the Southern Conference. And the Southern Conference has been playing football over 100 years. So it's a big honor and an opportunity to have this position now. But your original question, I did not know that it would be possible after I tried to get it and I did not get it.
All right. Well, they made a good choice, Coach.
Thank you, thank you. I think you're biased though.
Coach, what separates you from a good coach from a great coach?
Attention to detail, digging at the details. Uh, you may think something is a routine play, but I'm going to watch that play and dissect that play. And when I'm using a play, for example, but all aspects of the program, and it doesn't matter what time of day it is or how long it would take. I'm going to dig at the details until we get it right. That is the difference between good and great coaches. The other aspect is, and it's changing now. We used to not be able to have these tablets on the sideline. And a talent of coaching was being able to see a play in real time, positioning yourself where you can see all 22 on the field and make corrections on both sides of the ball. That I still have that talent, and that helps me in real time. But nowadays, these guys have the tablets; they just go back and look at the tablet.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Big vision is what I call it. You got to have big vision.
Yeah.
Coach, going off of recruiting again, can you describe to me what you look for in young men when you recruit them out of high school?
Yes. If we're talking about quantitative things, right? I look for length. Anytime you have length, right, it decreases space. And anytime you have space, that gives your opponent the opportunity to get by you on a block or to tackle you, and vice versa. So I look for length. That's something I can't coach. I look for speed. That's another thing I can't coach. I look for guys who have what I call FBI, football intelligence. They see the game similar to how I see the game, which allows them to play fast. So if they're a 4-6, but they see the game in the manner in which we need, they're playing at a 4-4. And if you can build that consistency, all right, that's going to make you a good player. So length, speed, football intelligence, and a toughness on film. All right, a toughness. I got to be able to see the toughness on film. All right, and if I can see that, that's the starting point for us. That's the measurables kind of deal. But they got to be a good person, a good human being. I love great human beings.
Thank you, Coach. Those are really good fundamental aspects to look for in young men in high school. Thank you.
Here's a stat for you. In 2025, high school football playing seniors, less than 1% signed an athletic scholarship at the FBS, FCS, or Division II level. So the high school athlete is really not being recruited anymore because of the transfer portal and all the money that's associated now.
That's interesting. Thank you for that wisdom.
Hey, Coach. So, leaning back kind of into your past experiences and your resume, I kind of noticed you coached for, I'm going to butcher this, but for the Sanjaki Crocodiles, a team in Finland from the European Football League. How was that coaching in a different continent? How did that experience go?
Oh, it was awesome. One of the best decisions I ever made is Sanoki
Okay.
Crocodiles. Being in Finland was a great experience, just from a knowledge standpoint. I'm not even getting with the football right now, but their education. They have free education in the country. As long as you can get into college, your college is paid for. Now you have to get into it, right? So you have to show that skill set that you can go to college, free college. The other thing that they have that is amazing to me, and I love it, from the age, and I may mess up the age, from the age of 14 to 25, you have to give at least 18 months to the military. Everybody. If you are healthy, willing, and not willing, if you're healthy and you're physically able, mentally able, you have to give 18 months. And you choose when you want to do that time. I thought that was awesome. And believe it or not, the people there are just darn right friendly. I mean, it was amazing. I really enjoyed that. But the football aspect, it didn't matter. All right, in my experiences, whether I was in the Arena League, whether I was in the Canadian Football League, whether I played in the European Football League, it's all ball. It's the same game. It's just played in a different place. So there wasn't much difference. Not at all.
Yeah, kind of going off that, doing what you love. It doesn't matter, but it's what you love or where.
Yeah, totally.
Sounds like a great experience, Coach.
Oh, man, it was outstanding.
All right, Coach, that's all the time we have for you. We appreciate you being on. Everybody give a round of applause for Coach.
Yes,
yeah, man.
Thank you
so much.
Appreciate you guys, man. You guys be awesome. Be a rock star. If you get get next to Coach Sweeney, tell him I said hello.
Sure will.
He's a good man. I like him a lot.
Will do. Thank you.
All right.
Take
Thank you so much,
Have
Coach.
a good one, Coach.
All right.